Well, for the penultimate episode for Acolyte, you get another flashback episode that tells you what really happened at, I don't know, the mountain keep of the Coven or whatever. Well, it was all a misunderstanding. May didn't really want to burn down her sister's room. She tried to put it out. Didn't use her force powers or nothing to open the door. And then went crying for Mama. Yeah. Saul thought the kids were being abused. And, well, maybe they were in a way. But the Jedi become more and more convinced that these people are up to no good and all that sort of thing. Plus, it's revealed what happened to the Padawan when his eyes went black and all that stuff. Well, basically, his mind was, how shall I put this, being violated, because, well, he was depicted as a young little brat who just wanted to go back home to Coruscant and was tired of hanging out in the pasture and the weeds. For some reason, it took him forever to find this, the keep and the cult, whatever they were, and which speaks to quite the weakness in their abilities with the Force, but that's already been out the window anyway. The canon's all screwed up. People who shouldn't even exist at that time period do, and on and on and on. So finally, there's a fight breaks out, and of course, it's all a misunderstanding. But it's Saul who ends up killing the leader of the Coven, one of the two mommies, which is interesting. He runs her through with his lightsaber while she's turning into the smoke monster. I didn't know you could do that with the Force, but I guess the witches figured out a way. I don't know. But she was all, ethereal and stuff, and yet, she came back to a solid form after he ran the lightsaber through her mist. I don't know. But again, isn't that odd? Because here lately, all the D+ Star Wars shows were demonstrating several female characters getting run through by a lightsaber and surviving it with barely a scratch. But if they had turned into a nimbus cloud of dust or whatever, well, then they won't survive that. So, I don't know. So, she died. The two girls are trying to save each other when their reactor core thing is collapsing because of a fire at the door of Osha's room, somehow spread through stone to their reactor core thingy. See, I thought they were going to reveal someone deliberately did it. I thought maybe the Padawan did because he was so angry at what was done to him. Nah. No. It just worked out that way. Meanwhile, the rest of the witches, mad about what happened to their leader, decide to take over the mind of the Wookiee Jedi. And so Wookiee Jedi attacks Saul and Padawan, and then Trinity shows up, and they're able to, or she's able to stop the connection from the witches and the Wookiee. Well, apparently as a result of doing that, all the witches collapsed and died. Now, I don't know about the second mother because she managed to disappear into a smoke monster when they took over Jedi Wookiee. And I'm still wondering if she's still around or if she's the true culprit behind, the master or whatever he's supposed to be. And don't know, but I'm sure all will be revealed in the final episode unless they put a cliffhanger on it. Will they get a second season? Probably not, but anywho. So that's how they all ended up dead. and the Jedi are like, whoops. Meanwhile, Saul, he went to go save the girls, but he decided he only really liked Osha, so he saves her instead of May. And May falls in that pit, but of course we know she somehow survived. Maybe then, while she was going down, she realized, wait, I got force powers, and stopped her descent. And so she survived and ended up being found by what's-his-name, which again is a whole other story that I don't know will be detailed at all. There's only one episode left, but maybe they were thinking, yeah, but in next season. Yeah. So anyway, they decide we've got to go tell the council what happened, and they decide to lie about it. Maybe secretly they did tell him whatever, but for Osha's purposes, who of course left with them, they just tell her that, well, May started a fire and everything went to hell, which is part of the truth, kinda. That's about it. So, as an outright act of murder or massacre or whatnot, that didn't happen. This was all bumbling and stupidity and whatnot, and misunderstanding is at the root here. So I would have expected a bit more of a takedown of the Jedi. I was comparing this to how Doctor Who treated the Time Lords as ultimately being corrupt and whatnot, whereas here they're just incompetent, and kind of stupid. So not as bad as outright making them villains and all that, but still, they're lying and covering things up and all that. As to, does this really explain Torben ultimately taking his life later on over this? Not really. I would have thought he had more of an active role. They get mad at him and blame him because he runs over to the keep and whatnot, but then Saul ends up joining him in it, and saying, yeah, we got to go get those girls. This is not a good place for them. And the thing is about Saul becoming so attached to Osha, I mean, he's spying on the coven, and what he interprets looks abusive to him, so he thinks that. But at the same time, there's just not enough interaction. Had they set it up where he had been meeting the girls for quite a while and got to know them, even they could have wrote it to where the Coven and the Jedi are aware of each other, but as time goes by and the Jedi are doing their exploration of the planet, because the planet is only one out of others that were barren, yet this one had life on it, and they're like, hey, why is that? And they could sense that there was a huge collection or vergence of the Force, yet I wonder why that is. Seems like day one, there's this Force cult there. And then over time, you end up in the situation that happens, but it would give more credence to Saul having this attachment for Osha and wanting to protect her and all that. But it's all a bit rushed in this, just to get you to the next point, episode and whatnot. So could have been worse. Like I said, they could have been depicted them as outright, criminals and that sort of thing. But it's just not a good show. It's just stupid, and it stumbled so much already. Just for this to be the outcome of it, and of course, lore damaging things. I mean, they just ripped off the Anakin story, and then everyone just forgets about that. Because guess what? The two girls are actually one and the same person that were split into two by the Force, and were created out of the Force, like Anakin. And they've got a metachlorian count that's, man, I've never seen it this big before and all that. just lazy and stupid. So, whatever. There you go. That's the 7th episode of Acolyte.